Hi, everybody. Matt Weatherly here from Public Sector Personnel Consultants. Our firm has been retained to review some job descriptions around the city. So we wanted to create just a brief opportunity to highlight your opportunities to participate and then direct you to a job questionnaire that will enable you to write down your job duties or at least compare those to your current job description. If the screen share is working, you'll notice a position description questionnaire is up on the screen. So I'll go through that, just kind of briefly a couple of the sections. I won't review the whole thing, but then you'll see an email with a couple of more written guidelines and tips and suggestions for completing that. The review of the job descriptions is just kind of a transparent and objective way to ensure both internal equity and external competitiveness. We're going to review whatever you provide on those questionnaires. We may supplement that with some interviews, probably virtually, just kind of interacting or doing some follow-up questions and answers where we need to review and make sure that we understand the job duties that belong on your job description. It's not a review of staffing. It's not a review of your performance. Nobody's pay is going backwards. So it's nothing to be feared. It's a process that a lot of cities undertake, whether in whole or in part, probably every 3 to 5 years. So depending on the date stamp on your job description, maybe time to create some updates or an opportunity to create some updates to that job description. If you'll direct your attention to the screen share up top, it's just some housekeeping. So indicate your name, your job title. If we do have some follow-up questions, please indicate for us if you have a work email address or a work phone number, and then we can kind of schedule something as a way of follow-up. The questionnaire itself is designed to follow a pretty standard job description format. So the first page just asks you to summarize your position. If somebody were to ask you what you do for a living, what do you tell them? Kind of 3 to 5 sentences, high level. If you're performing more than one distinct role, or maybe you wear a couple of different hats when you're at work, and you want to delineate from job 1 and job 2 and list out those job duties, please feel free to do that. We don't need 2 questionnaires, but if you think it's important to break out and tell us about maybe 2 or more different types of duties or roles or jobs that you perform, indicate that here. Page 2 is the hardest page. It's blank. If you want to compare that to your current job description, a couple of big highlights here. We're reviewing your job, not you, right? So it's a position that we're trying to study. But what we're looking for on page 2 is really an accounting of job duties and responsibilities, and then kind of challenging you to list out what you believe, either from most important to least important duties you perform, or most frequent to least frequent duties that you perform. It doesn't necessarily need to add up to 100%, but if there are tasks that you perform every day, I would probably write them down here. If there are tasks that you perform less frequently, but you believe they are important, I would write those down as well. I won't go through the rest of the questionnaire, but other than page 3, the very last section that I do want to cover, take a moment to think about what you know and what you have to be good at in order to perform your job duties. Do you have customer service skills? Do you have computer skills? Maybe you have to have specific knowledge of court procedures, documentation, skill in resolving customer complaints, that kind of thing. So that goes in that top section of page 3. And then we're also asking for your opinion around education and experience. Does your position require a high school diploma and a couple of years of experience, maybe a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree? Give us an idea of what type of education and previous experience would be required. The only other section that I want to point out is really at the end. You'll notice that there's a room for a supervisor or manager to sign off, but nobody's going to change what you put on your questionnaire. So know that this information will go from you to your supervisor, probably through human resources to us. But whatever you indicate for us on these first 7 pages, nobody is going to change. We're asking you for a review and a sign off just to make sure that you didn't forget anything. Again, if you want to attach a current job description and mark that up with duties that need to be added or removed, that's sometimes a pretty productive way to start. But other than that, look for that email, look for a few more tips and suggestions within that email. And then certainly we'll look forward to interacting with everybody when we are able to. So with that, thank you in advance for looking at the questionnaire, filling that out, or marking up your job description. And hopefully we'll see everybody again soon. Thanks so much.